The call to have more women join a business as a way to empower them is one that leaders have called for multiple times despite the surrounding challenges in the business sector. But as women celebrated their day on Tuesday, women in business emphasized the need for affordable financing, skills extension as a way to make sure that women succeed in the businesses they're running. Happy belated Women's Day, I should say. But here on the Business Show, of course, we are celebrating women throughout the entire month of March. Now here are stories that made headlines in the world of business. IRA launches Insurance Week to create awareness. Stanchart unveils 1 billion shillings for youth skilling. PSFU wants a fund to support women in business. Uganda, Kenya agree on transit route for fish to DRC. And McDonald's, Coca-Cola and Starbucks halt Russian sales.
Anywhere which is close to the city centre will be increasing in value over the long term.
We connect you to people heading to the same direction.
Once again, welcome to the show. Now, with development of many peri-urban centers, development of up-and-coming areas has become the way to go for real estate developers. On Views from the Top, we speak to Clive Clifford, the CEO of Jacana Heights, as we seek to share insights on this growing trend.
My name's Clive Clifford. I'm the CEO of Jacana Heights and of ProAfrica Developments. And I'm developing on the top of Konge Hill in Buziga. And I love development because it is transforming an idea. It's making real something from a piece of land. You see the potential and you turn it into something real. And that's something which I never get tired of doing. There's something in human nature which makes you want to be on the top, looking down. I'm sure it comes from ancient times when people had to protect themselves against enemies, so you're looking down. And up here in Jacana Heights, we're at the top of the hill, we're looking down over the city, down over Lake Victoria, and it feels very, very comfortable, it feels safe, it feels like a retreat to come back home to. And anyone who comes to visit the site has the same feeling. It's quiet, it's tranquil, and I think that is something which appeals universally to everyone. I think that this site is developing. There's infrastructure planned, some of which has already been put into place. So we're very close to Lukuli Road. We're about 1 kilometre from Lukuli Road, which has just been widened. We're also on the junction of where the southern bypass is being built. So from a transport and access point of view, very rapid access once those new roads have been built into the city, into Entebbe, either down the Lukuli Road or down the new southern bypass. But already this is not far from the city centre. This is closer than Muyanga. It's about the same as Muyanga, say. It's much closer than Manyonyo, obviously. So we have good access to the city centre, which will improve. But we've got good access to essentials as well, shops nearby. And that is, as you've rightly pointed out, the other thing people are looking for. They want to have essentials nearby. They need to be within 10 minutes of the services that they want to use regularly, and they want to be close enough to the city centre, most people. The correlation between the value of the property and accessibility is a close correlation. Everyone needs to be near the centres, near where other people are, and as population increases, which it is doing in Kampala and Uganda in general, then it creates a higher density and a higher pressure on land, and that increases the value of the land. So over the long term, anywhere which is close to the city centre will be increasing in value over the long term. Something which I absolutely love about real estate is spotting those opportunities, because that's where you really make money. You want to spot the areas which have all of the ingredients that we've talked about, the accessibility, the comfort of surroundings, things that everyone wants, close to employment centres, etc. But where the market price has not factored that in yet. So if you can spot those opportunities, eventually everyone will come round to realise that this is a good place to live for those reasons, and the prices begin to go up. And then as people begin to move in, more shops and services come in, and as more shops and services come in, more people move in. So you have a virtual circle of increasing prices. And if you can spot those opportunities early, and that's why I've chosen this area. It's not the first place people think of when they invest. When people invest, they'll be thinking about Kololo, Nakasero, Muyinga, Munyunyo, but they won't necessarily come and look here. But the smart investor will, because they'll see that they can buy here a property that maybe they couldn't afford or wouldn't want to pay for in a different area, but the price of that property will go up, as it has in your example. I think the key thing here is to do research very, very thoroughly, because what you want to do is outsmart the market. So you want to look for, in Uganda, infrastructure improvements are very, very important. So for example here, the council has agreed to tarmac the road up the hill. Work has already started on that. So that makes the accessibility much faster. As I've mentioned, Lukuli Road has been widened. That makes access faster again. And with the Southern Bypass, all of those infrastructure improvements increases the accessibility. That means you're much nearer town, basically. You're much nearer the services. That increases the price. So if you can spot where those things are going to happen, then you will buy property which is going to increase in price. Generally not with infrastructure, because it's something which, once it's been built, it doesn't tend to go away. But there are examples where if you have a nice view, for example, and someone builds a flyover right in front of it, then obviously that's going to have a negative impact. So it can happen. That's something, again, you need to do your research on and look out for. You can also see signs of improvement or of properties going down in value according to who's moving in or who's moving out. More difficult to spot, but it can be done with enough research. Normally we would offer a payment plan during construction rather than afterwards. Of course, there's mortgage finance which is available for professionals. And we're prepared to be quite creative with people in terms of mixing what we can offer as a developer in terms of finance with what the bank can offer. And there are multiple different ways of financing a purchase of property. For example, we have a lot of people from the diaspora who want to buy here. Now, if they come from the US or the UK, they can borrow at very low interest rates there, and they can invest here. So we will also offer the facility for people to borrow some of their money in another country, and then they can take out a mortgage here as well, mixed with the finance that we can offer people. And we've realised the importance of being very flexible on that, so to tailor to individual needs. So that we will tailor a package exactly to what people are able to afford. Well, fundamentally the apartments have to be affordable to the market. So the pricing has to allow financing within the budgets of the buyers. That's really the limiting factor. If we weren't providing housing within that limit, then we wouldn't be able to sell them. So in Uganda, interest rates are much higher than they are in the UK, for example. And as a result of that, monthly payments are going to be higher. So the cost of property is less. What you find is that, in my experience, when interest rates have dropped, because we had similar interest rates in the UK many years ago, as interest rates dropped, the property prices began to go up for no other reason than they became more affordable. So there's a direct correlation there. And whenever there are government incentives to make housing more affordable, the end result is always that the prices go up. They don't make them more affordable. The market just finds the balance between what people are prepared to pay and what they can afford. So, you know, you can't really beat the market at the end of the day. Every time I come up here, it feels like you've arrived somewhere. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's got a lovely fresh air, beautiful view. And I felt, well, I have to build something which matches that. So we've built very spacious apartments here. We're maximising the view, obviously, in a beautiful garden. We've talked a lot about accessibility. It's certainly got accessibility of comparable properties. And it's got the potential to go up in value, in capital value, for the reasons that we've talked about. People, when there's uncertainty about finance, it's very difficult for people to make long-term commitments to purchase. It's also difficult from practical terms to view properties when there's a lockdown, particularly for the diaspora segment of the market. They couldn't travel here. So it certainly had a big impact. However, since we've started renting out apartments, we have been very successful with short-term rentals, which has quite surprised me because I was expecting very few travellers, but we're fully occupied, and that is a very good sign. Because the market is only going to get better, and we've got brilliant reviews on the internet, and as you build up better reviews, you get more and more people coming. So we're very happy with that position, and of course for investors that's great, because if you're buying just to get rental returns, then we've got a proven track record now. I think, speaking from a personal point of view, I wanted to find an investment in Africa, firstly. Then I decided East Africa, and then I looked at the different countries in East Africa before deciding on Uganda. And Uganda seemed to have the greatest potential to increase its economy, and I still believe it does. So it's a decision for me which it came from the heart. I could have stayed in Europe, because I've developed in several countries, but it was of personal interest for me, and it's still the most interesting part of my business, is developing here. The key is do your research really well, and just be purely guided by the research that you find, not by what you personally feel. Because you can invest in a very beautiful looking area which has already got there, and it's got nowhere else to go. It's not going to go up. It may stay the same. Or you can invest in an area which looks awful, but it looks like it could improve. And of course, if it's at a low level, it's more likely to go up than somewhere which is already looking good and is established. And from a personal point of view, comes back to the first point I made, that I love development because you're seeing the potential in somewhere. You're seeing how to transform it into something which is beautiful. So I think, you know, if you see somewhere and you think, oh, this looks terrible, then don't let that put you off. Just look at the figures, look at your research, and purely make your decision on that. Of course, it may stay looking terrible for a long, long time. That's quite possible. But you know, the warning is, if you buy in a really good, well-established area, which is already very, very expensive, there's a possibility that those prices could go down. They're less likely to go up, for sure. So just do the research, see what the trends are, see who's moving out, see who's moving in, see what the changes are in employment, population growth, close by areas which are doing well. That's important. Look at all of those factors and then just decide according to the research you've done.
Listening to Clive, it shows you that as a business person, honesty is very important for your clients, as they will learn to trust you and also connect you to the next client. Thank you very much for watching The Business Show. We are taking a short break and we shall be right back.